decorations are always free, and so is the coffee and the conversation. You want the best for yourself or for the man in your life, or only the best. It's Bernard's Store for Men on the square in historic downtown Jasper, and always on the square with you.
In 1936, David's son Humphreys opened a little mom-and-pop store with old wooden floors and a pot-bellied stove on 9th Avenue in Jasper. People liked doing business with Mr. Humphreys, and in 1955, he had to build a bigger store. Almost a century later, Sun Supermarket on 9th Avenue is still carrying on Mr. Humphreys' legacy of providing great customer service with a small-town atmosphere. Hard to believe this is our 90th year in business. To all our loyal customers through the years, thank you for doing business with us. Sun Supermarket, serving you since 1936.
Bevel State does more than award certificates and diplomas. At Bevel State, we build futures. We prepare students for high-demand careers, transfer success, and a life of opportunity. This is where potential becomes purpose, where the future isn't just imagined, it's made visible. Start your story at bscc.edu. Bevel State, building futures.
The sound of Walker County on 101.5 is WDXB HD3 Pelham, W286BM Jasper, an iHeart radio station. Listen on the free iHeart radio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good.
It's 9 o'clock and we're going live. This is Live at 9 on WJLX with James Phillips, presented by Young Jewelers in historic downtown Jasper. Real talk, real stories, right now.
And good morning. It is a Friday morning in Jasper, Alabama. It's a little rainy outside, but hey, it's a great day. It feels much better out there, a little bit cooler. Here on Friday, July the 24th, James Phillips here in studio, and my special guest today, there they are. We've got Colvin and Valerie Sawyer of the Colvin and Sawyer Law Offices, and today we're having a law call. So I'm going to let them kind of talk about their practice a little bit, and then in our second segment today, we would love to take phone calls. Anybody that has any legal questions, I'll let you guys kind of offer what you can talk about and what you might not can talk about as it relates to legal advice over the radio waves. But Chris, tell us a little bit about your firm and what you guys do.
Well, first of all, I would like to say good morning, Walker County. It's a pleasure to be on here with you today. I was born and raised in this county, graduated from Walker High School. I know it's Jasper now, but hey, we're still holding out for the Vikings, right? And
That's right.
Football season is on the way. And my name is Christopher Colvin. I'm the founder of Colvin and Sawyer Law Offices. We opened our firm back up in 2024, and I have with me this morning my partner and best friend on this earth, Valerie Sawyer. And as far as I'm concerned, she is the best probate attorney in all of Alabama. So if you need a will, you need a trust, you need some estates, or we've got to go through probate, she will work with you all the way, every step, and make sure that you and your family are taken care of. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to her and let her talk a little bit about what she does this morning.
Well, thanks a lot, Chris. So what I do is I help clients navigate what they want to happen to all of their stuff. So if you need a will, you need a trust, you need a power of attorney, any kind of healthcare documents, an advance directive, a living will, I can take care of all of that for you. So there's a lot of different ways that assets pass when you die. The first way is through a joint ownership. So if you own your house jointly and your spouse dies, that house automatically will go to you. It does not need to go through the court process. The second way is through a beneficiary designation. So a lot of times we think about that on life insurance policies. As long as you've got a beneficiary, you're good. The problem comes in when you own an asset solely in your name, and that is a titled asset. So a house, bank accounts, investment accounts, 401ks, anything like that. If there's no beneficiary listed and it's not owned jointly, it has to go through the court process. And that court process can take a long time, and it can be really, really expensive. So with proper planning, you can avoid that court process, and your heirs, your children, your family doesn't have that hassle of going through court. So that's a little bit about what we do, but we do a lot of other things too. So Chris, why don't you talk a little bit about the business aspect and how we can help with that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So my forte, something that I've been in most of my life, my family's third generation small business owners here in Walker County and other places. And so I practice primarily business law, dealing with anything from, a small mom and pop all the way up to multi-million-dollar corporations. We do everything that we can to try to help our clients navigate any potential liabilities that they may be seeing, or contract review, those types of things. So we do a good bit of that kind of work, and we're one stop with that too. We're networked with accountants, we're networked with web designs, just about anything that you can imagine. And you need a T-shirt, we can point you in the direction on that. So, but yeah, Valerie, let's talk a little bit more about what you do on the probate side of things, because that's really, I think, our focus here today is trying to help people. Now, would you say we always try to help people avoid probate, or is probate sometimes is it necessary?
Well, sometimes probate is the easier route to go for people. And a lot of people are afraid of going through probate, but it's really not that difficult. It does take some time. So going through probate is actually the court process to take some assets out of the name of the deceased person and put it into the name of a living person. Because Chris, as much as we would like to, we can't take it with us.
That's right, that's right.
So that's what that court process does. And I help navigate the family through that process. I'll prepare the documents. I sit down and I talk with the family. And we can come up with a plan to go through and navigate that process. It can be lengthy. There's all kinds of documents that we have to go through with the court. We're working on a case right now that we do have a will, which is great. Will doesn't avoid probate, it's just a fast track through it. So what happens with this family is we've got a brother and sister that are allocated in the will, and they're supposed to each get an inheritance, but it is different. So trying to navigate those family dynamics, I think, is something that we do really well.
Yep.
And we try to keep peace within the family, because death is very, very difficult to deal with. As everybody knows, we've all experienced it. So that's the one thing that Chris and I really try to do, is sit down and talk with the family. And part of being an attorney is also counseling. So we sit and we talk about the difficult things with you. And one thing that I think really sets our firm apart is we do try to establish those personal relationships. We get to know our clients. We communicate. We tell you, please call us if you have questions. And we try to charge a reasonable fee for what y'all get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'd like to say too, you and I have been we've been in probate courts all over the state of Alabama from Mobile on. And one of the things I can say about the Walker County Court, Judge Tucker and the guys down there and girls, they've been excellent to work with. It's not something that anybody should be afraid of. Judge and his staff work very, very hard to make sure that the law is followed and that everybody's taken care of, and they're very personal. So it's been a joy working with the Walker County Probate.
I can confirm that. I'm sure a lot of people are aware that there's some issues in Jefferson County right now in their probate courts, and Walker County probate has been phenomenal to deal with. Can't say enough great about the judge here, and the people here are just wonderful to work with.
Absolutely, I agree.
With the probate issues, a lot of times, if you don't plan ahead, those things just pop up out of nowhere also.
It can, and not only that, we have a law in Alabama. It's called the law of intestacy, and I'll let Valerie expand on that a little bit more. But basically what it says is if you pass without a will, then the state is going to dictate how your assets are divided up, and there's a very specific way that that's done in Alabama, and the heirs really don't have a choice because we just have to follow the law. And like I said, I'll let Valerie talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, so that's a great point. We're working on another case that we have a wife that passed away. The home was solely in her name. All of her children and her husband still live in the house, and she has adult children. So unfortunately, with the house being solely in the wife's name, it does not pass completely to her husband. We're having to go through the probate process. She did not have a will. So what the state says is that half of her estate goes to her husband, and the remainder is split between her children. So she has 6 children. They're all adults. And there's a spousal share that is involved with it. There's just all different avenues that we have to go through. So in Alabama, what the laws of intestacy state is that if you are married and have living children, your spouse gets half, your children get the other half. If you are not married and you don't have children, then it goes up to your parents. If your parents are deceased, it goes out to your siblings. I have another case that it was an only child. He was not married. He had no children. So then it's going to go up to grandparents and out to aunts and uncles and nieces and nephews. So if you have a large family tree, it gets very, very complicated.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can solve all of that by having a simple will.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, how important is it for people to have the end of life directives or just a living will, so people know if there's an I don't want to say opportunity, if there's a situation where a plug has to be pulled or things like that, how important is that?
You know, I actually want to jump in on that one a little bit, and yeah, it's extremely important. Like we said earlier, you can't take it with you when you go, but you can dictate who's going to get what, and that's really, you know, something that we want to talk about as far as when we're talking about end of life things. I also pastor a church here in town, Northside Church of the Nazarene, and Crossroads Methodist on the weekends. So a little something I do on the side, I guess.
So you're a
you could say.
Nazarene and a Methodist.
Yeah. Well, I'm ordained Nazarene, but you know, the Methodists called me a few years ago and asked me if I'd come and fill in, and we thought it was going to be temporary. And 4 years later, I just love those people. So you know,
That's awesome though to do both. I
yeah.
think that's just a good, cool thing for unity within the church.
Absolutely, yeah, and we have 2 wonderful congregations that are just family to us. We love them to death. But you know, getting to say that too, you know, in pastoring, a lot of times I do some counseling and things like that. And one of the things that we talk about with people when we're doing the what's known as the advanced directives for healthcare.
Right.
This is where you sit down and you put on a piece of paper, if I'm not going to survive, 2 independent doctors have conferred and they're saying, you know, I'm not going to make it no matter what they try to do, then let's just pull the plug and be done. And that takes that burden off of your family. That's why we want that document. It gives everybody a sense of peace. Hey, this is what mom wanted. This is what dad wanted. We're honoring their wishes, and we're making sure that transition is smooth from this world to the next. So, you know, and that's something that we're very conscious of in the work that we do, is that we're not just writing wills and taking paychecks. We're trying to help people plan how they want things to go with their family when they get to a situation where they can't make those decisions anymore. And we want to give them all the tools that they need so that this transition is as smooth and as easy as it can be. You know, death is never easy. It's hard for us. You know, we're the ones left behind. But at the same time, we can help families have a little bit more peace, not just from their pastor, but also from the documents that their lawyers have set aside for them to make sure that everything just happens the way it's supposed to. You've got enough to deal with when a loved one dies. You don't need to be thinking about all these other things as well. You know, well, I need to get these healthcare records. I need to do this. We put documents together to take care of all of that. And I'll let Valerie talk about those a little bit more, some of the different documents that we prepare in the office to try to help with that transition. So.
Well, and I want to piggyback on what Chris said too, is these documents are not just for people in their 50s, 60s, 70s. For people with college-age children, getting these documents for their kids is important as well. Because I had a client who lived in the Birmingham area, and his daughter was at Auburn. And he gets a call from his daughter's roommate. She's being taken to the emergency room by ambulance, and I think this is the hospital she's going to. So, of course, like any dad would, he jumps in the car and flies down to Auburn. Gets to the hospital. They will not confirm that she is a patient. They will not allow him to go see her. Nothing. He had no rights to his 19-year-old daughter at all, because she was legally an adult. She could make those decisions according to the law on her own. But we all know there's no 19-year-old that can handle that situation.
Right.
So it's really important to have these documents. And part of that package that we prepare is a power of attorney. And what the power of attorney does is while you are alive, it allows someone to help you with your finances. But they can only do what you allow them to do.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't use your money to go buy a new Lamborghini for themselves. If you say no, then the answer is no. The next document we prepare is the Alabama Advanced Directive for Health Care, and that's actually a two-part document. So the first part is your living will, and it lets the world know how, like Chris was saying, how you want to be treated in end-of-life care. The second part of the document is a healthcare proxy, and that appoints someone to speak for you to make medical decisions when you can't speak for yourself. So that whole document only comes into play when you can't speak for yourself. So as long as you can say what you want, that goes. Then we do the HIPAA waiver, which is the form we sign every year at the doctor's office saying, you know, I understand my medical records, they're private between my healthcare providers and myself, but I give these people permission to talk to my doctor and see how I'm doing.
Right.
And that's whoever you want. You want brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, kids, whoever you want listed on that form. That's completely up to you.
Yep.
So, and those are those three documents are what help you while you're alive. And those are incredibly important for especially college-age kids because they're just learning how to navigate as an adult, and they still need mom and dad to help. And that's what a lot of people don't think about. I ran into it myself when my kids went to college. You know, schools want to get paid tuition. So I called to find out what the balance was, and they could not tell me.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like, hold on, I'm paying the bill. What do you mean you can't tell me?
Yeah.
Well, you can still pay. Well, how much do I pay? I can't tell you.
Right.
Well, how am I supposed to pay it if I don't know what the bill is?
Just make your best guess.
You're right, yeah.
Just write a big fat check.
It's in the thousands of dollars
Yeah,
range.
Exactly,
I know.
yeah. Yeah.
And I had not thought about that either as far as a college age student. You know, you think of an older person or somebody who's been through health issues and things like that. But I've got a 19-year-old daughter that goes to the University of Alabama. I need to do that for her, too.
Absolutely, because Alabama will not tell you a word
Yeah.
without
And
these documents.
I had the same thing with UAB. My son, I actually took him to the hospital. It was, I think, last year, and he was home. My son's at Trevecca Nazarene University in Nashville, Tennessee, and doing great. I'm very, very proud of him. His name's Owen. But he hit himself in the head, of all things, with a post hole digger. And so we took him over to UAB and got him all patched up. Everything was good. And, you know, he's back up in college, and the bill comes. And so I call UAB, and I'm like, hey, I need to take care of my son's bill. And they said, well, we can't talk to you about it. And I'm like, why not? And they're like, he's 19. I'm like, yeah, I knew that. So, you know, so it was one of those things. We had to call him, get his permission, and then, you know, of course, he's in class and working, everything else. So we had to get his permission for us to even be able to talk to the hospital, to get the bill, to pay the bill. And it can be an arduous thing. So yeah, not only are we talking about end of life, we're talking about, you know, we can do powers of attorney with your children if they're off to college and you're handling some of their finances and things like that. It gives you the right to talk to whoever you need to talk to help take care of your family. So we do try to assist in every way we can.
And unless somebody has a 19-year-old in college working a job, you don't realize how tough it is to get in touch with that person sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Or they may just ignore your phone call sometimes.
That too. Yes. I have two boys, and I run into that quite a bit.
Right.
Yep.
So I've got a 22-year-old and a 24-year-old. I've got one at Alabama and one at William Carey in Mississippi.
Yeah.
So trying to catch up with them is next to impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially depending on which friend they're with.
Yeah, at the time, yeah. But, you know, talking about those end-of-life documents, too, our firm actually does something that is unique. And I haven't noticed this from other firms and things like that when we've gotten, you know, wills and things from that other law firms have done. One of the things that we include is what we call memorial instructions. And on this page, you know, again, when mom or dad or whoever passes away, you've got all these things to deal with. I've got to find the will. I've got to open probate. I've got to do this. I've got to set up the funeral arrangements. I've got to. We have documents for that as well, where you sit down and you decide: do you want to be buried? Do you want to be cremated? Is there a particular pastor that you want to officiate your funeral? Do you have a burial plot? Do you have a plan? And I will say that too about the funeral homes here in Walker County, they do pre-planning, and we encourage people to do that as well. Now, the document that we do, it will substitute for that, but you can go down, you can talk to them now and say, hey, look, I know I'm not going to live forever. I wish I would, but I know the day is coming when I'm going to leave this world behind, and I want to go ahead and get my arrangements set up so that all that my children or whoever have to do is come here, see you, and say, hey, Mom passed away, and they take it over from there. And we do. We add documents to our estate plan packs. So on top of the will, the power of attorney, the healthcare documents, also how you want to handle what we call internment, which is your passing. So all of those are available. And again, I'll kick it to Valerie because she's really the best when it comes to explaining those kind of things.
Well, just for an example, my mom passed away 18 years ago. And my mom was very specific in telling me exactly what she wanted. I want this song played. I want a closed casket. I want to be wearing these clothes. But none of it was ever written down. And, she was the one that told me, if you don't do it this way, I'm going to come back to haunt you.
Right, yeah.
And, moms will figure out a way to do that. So
Definitely.
I made sure I followed her directions. But not everybody has a mom like I did. Thank goodness. But, so this document, one of the other things that it includes is whether you want to be buried or cremated. Mm-hmm. Because in Alabama, if it's not written down and signed, then your next of kin has to all agree. If they don't all agree to cremation and that's what you want, and you don't have it in writing, then you're going to be buried.
Yeah.
So you need to really think it through and say, well, this is what I want. I don't care where I'm buried, or I do care, this is what I want. So your wishes are followed, and we can talk through it with you. We can point you in different directions to different funeral homes depending on where you live. We've got a lot of connections there too. And pre-planning a funeral will save your family a lot of money as well.
It
so
does.
if you can get with the funeral homes, and when you're in that moment, I know when my parents passed away, it was, let's just go with who's available and who we can get.
Right.
Luckily, somebody I went to high school with worked at the funeral home, so it worked out. But when you're in that situation and nothing's been planned out, it gets very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Funerals now are anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 for a burial. So that's a big expense, and if you can save your family that money, why don't we do it?
Right. Well, and maybe if you're still alive, you can barter them down a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yes, you absolutely can. And they have packages and
Yeah.
pre-planning packages, so it's a great cost savings. And it sounds, like, I can't believe you're trying to save money for my funeral, but
Well, that's something
money.
to take off your family that's going through this
Exactly.
situation.
It
Absolutely.
is. It helps your family. Plus, why would you pay top dollar when you can get the same service for less if you plan ahead?
Yeah.
Shop the sales.
I'm wondering if we could get a BOGO for me and my wife. Then it helps
there you go.
helps the kids even more,
It'd be worth asking.
Yeah. I want to remind everybody that we're talking to Chris Colvin and Valerie Sawyer of the Colvin and Sawyer law offices. And today that we're doing law call, and this is our first time to do this. We plan on doing it more often, hopefully monthly. And so you guys can call in with any questions. Is there any kind of parameters we need to put around call-ins or anything?
No, we are general practice attorneys. Now, there are some things that our firm really doesn't handle. We don't handle, criminal. We don't handle personal injury. The car wrecks. You're not going to see our face on a billboard anytime soon.
Right.
But we're trained in all aspects of the law, and we're happy to talk to or refer you to someone who handles that particular question that you may have if we can. But no, any legal question, we're open, and we're kind of hoping the people of Walker County give us a little run for our money today.
There you go. I hear one call already coming in. I haven't even I put the number on Facebook. The number is 205-295-1240. We're going to take a quick break here for the bottom of the hour, and if you do have a question, go ahead and be calling in, getting lined up. We've got our producer in the other studio that will be kind of vetting everybody before they get to us. So we'll do that. Let's take a break. And like I said, call 205-295-1240, and we'll be right back on Live at 9 with James Phillips here with Law Call.
Young Jewelers. That name has been a part of Jasper for a long, long time. As a matter of fact, for 3 generations and over 70 years, Young Jewelers has been located in downtown Jasper, striving to earn your loyalty with quality and customer service. Young Jewelers has set the standard in diamonds, jewelry, and gifts. You can afford to have a diamond from Young Jewelers. Our friendly staff can assure you of that. And you're always greeted with a smile and a genuine concern for your needs. Whether it's custom design work or diamonds from one of the name brand vendors, a consultation at Young Jewelers will have you feeling confident you've made the right choice. Young Jewelers, located across from City Hall on 19th Street and online at youngjewelers.com.
Start your story at Bevel State Community College. Whether you need seamless academic transfer classes, high-wage, high-demand career technical or health science programs, rapid training opportunities that get you into the workforce quickly, dual enrollment or adult education courses, Bevel State is your community college for a quality education. Visit bscc.edu to learn about our convenient and affordable options to make your future visible. Your story starts at Bevel State.
Carl Cannon, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, Corridor X, and Jasper. We're more than just a new car dealer. We're a certified pre-owned dealer, too. As a used car dealer in Jasper, we have access to a wide variety of used cars from across the area. As a new Buick, Chevy, Cadillac, and GMC dealer, we have the latest models that GM provides from 4 amazing brands. Let us show you around our dealership. With so many options, we're sure you'll find what you're looking for. Browse our inventory online at carlcannon.com. When other dealers can't, Cannon can. Carl Cannon, Corridor X at Industrial Boulevard in Jasper.
Hi guys, I'm Dr. Martin Roberts, owner of Jasper Veterinary Clinic. 3 years ago when I set out to open my own clinic, Pinnacle was my bank of choice to help that dream become a reality. Recently when we needed to expand and had the opportunity to acquire property adjoining to ours, I made one call to Wayne and he set those wheels in motion. If you have banking needs, give Pinnacle a call.
Hello everyone, I'm Drake McKenzie from All South Land and Timber. We've been banking with Pinnacle Bank for over 25 years. The customer service at Pinnacle Bank is first class. We highly recommend banking with Pinnacle Bank for all of your financial needs.
I'm Robin Reed Allen, Chairman of the Board of Pinnacle Bank. Come see our team and make Pinnacle Bank your bank too.
Pinnacle Bank, member FDIC.
If you're craving great food in a place that feels just right, it's time to head to Jake's on 4th in downtown Jasper. From stacked made-to-order burgers to hearty favorites fresh off the grill, every dish at Jake's is cooked with care and full of flavor. It's comfortable, relaxed, and always welcoming. Whether you're meeting friends, enjoying a casual dinner, or just want a laid-back spot with great atmosphere, Jake's on 4th delivers every time. Located at 1810 4th Avenue South of downtown Jasper, Jake's is open Wednesday through Saturday with lunch from 11 to 3:30 and dinner 5 to close. Jake's has great food, an easygoing vibe, and it's a place you'll want to come back to. Jake's on 4th, fine dining done the Walker County way.
Hey, this is Nick Norris from The Game Managers. Every Friday afternoon at 6 on WJLX, Patrick Hanna and I break down the news of the week in sports. From local high school games to the biggest moments in college and the pros. No hot takes for clicks, just sports news, real analysis, and the conversations you actually want to hear. If you like sports as much as us, then make The Game Managers part of your Friday nights. We'll see you there.
The sound of Walker County on 101.5 is WDXB HD3 Pelham, W286BM Jasper, an iHeart radio station. Listen on the free iHeart Radio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good.
You're listening to Live at 9 with James Phillips, presented by Young Jewelers on WJLX.
And we are back on Live at 9 with James Phillips. I want to thank all of our sponsors. You just heard from everybody, especially Jake's on 4th and Young Jewelers, our title sponsors here on Live at 9. They've been with us, Young's almost since day one, and Jake's has now been with us for a good 6 months or so. And go get some lunch today at Jake's, or call and get you some reservations for this weekend. It's the perfect place for a date night. We were all just talking about how long we've been married. There's no better place to take your wife in Jasper than a great date night at Jake's on 4th. Young's Jewelers as well. There's no better place to take a wife or husband to get them something nice than from Young Jewelers in downtown Jasper. Today we've got the Colvin and Sawyer law offices here today, and we said we're going to be taking some calls, and we got a call during the break. So let me hit the button here and see if we've got Barry from Townley. Barry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, there we go. We got you picked up. Well, Barry, you said you wanted to talk about pre-needs, kids that you leave behind. Go ahead and talk to the attorneys here and let them know what your question is.
Okay. Well, I went to Kilgore Green a couple of years ago and got a pre-need, and my pre-bill was about $16,000, and then I got in a situation back in the spring where my wife passed away, and there were some things she wanted done that my son disagreed with. She wanted to be cremated, but he didn't want to go for it, and so just went ahead and got the casket and the vault and everything, did a traditional kind of semi-private funeral and everything. But after, I got a package from Dignity after, I got a death certificate, and there's just a lot of stuff going on, and I'm worried about protecting my land, my inheritance, my house. It's just a lot of things that, I had no idea that was coming at me. And I guess, and I've hired an estate attorney last week, and they're putting together, I guess, a schedule of what I've got to do as far as different things. But is there anything that you need to look out for when you're hiring an attorney or you're doing a pre-need? I guess that's my question. Is there anything I need to be aware of?
Hey, Barry, I'm going to hang up on you and let you listen in, so we'll let the attorneys let you know what they think.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Barry, thanks for the call. We really do appreciate it, and I'll speak a little bit on it. Now, what you're talking about on that pre-planning, pre-needs, that's a contract at the end of the day, and so it's always good, and I want to talk to everybody about this. Not something we really talked about in the first half of the segment, but, anytime you've got questions, it's never wrong to call an attorney and say, hey, will you review these documents for me and let me know what could be down the road on this. So, that's what I was talking about in my business law practice earlier. That's what I try to do for my clients. They bring me a contract before they accept something from another party, and we go through it. I show them their exposure. So, yes, definitely. And if you've got an estate attorney working on it now, that's excellent. But yeah, anytime you've got questions on any of that pre-planning or anything like that, go ahead, pick up the phone, give an attorney a call, whether it's us or some of the guys local here. And I do want to actually mention that as well. The guys that are downtown here in Jasper and around Walker County that practice law here, all of them that I've met have been wonderful. I have no negative thing to say about any of them. And so definitely get on the phone with them and let them take a look at this if you've got questions coming up, so that you are prepared when those documents are necessary. You're prepared for what's going to be coming, and you're going to be aware of what you're getting into. So, Valerie, you got anything you want to add on that?
Well, Barry, what you want to make sure that you do is make sure that you discuss with your estate attorney what your goals are and what you want to accomplish, because that's really the most important thing. They're working for you, so make sure that you really speak to what you want to accomplish. You mentioned you wanted to protect your land, so make sure that your estate attorney knows that that is a goal of yours. I have a couple I'm working with right now that we're putting their property into a trust. It's been in their the property has been in their family for 6 or 7 generations, and they want to preserve that for their grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So we're addressing that in a trust for them to make sure that their children, well, I want to sell the land to get a new Corvette. Well, no, we don't want you to sell the land to get a new Corvette.
Right.
We want to preserve that for the family. So we're setting up a trust that they can do that. So every person's goals are different. Some people may want to sell their property to provide a college education for their grandchildren. Well, we can address that in your estate planning documents. So if you have goals like that, make sure that you do address those with your estate attorney.
Absolutely.
I want to remind everybody, if we have any more calls, any more questions for the attorneys, call in at 205-275-1240. Not 275, I'm sorry, 205-295-1240. call in and ask any questions you might have. What he was talking about there kind of hits home with me. My father passed away a little less than a year ago now, and it's my mom is still alive. My mom is struggling with dementia, Alzheimer's type issues. It's me, my brother, and my sister. I'm the oldest of the family. And a lot of times you think that automatically goes to the oldest to be the conservator and that sort of thing.
Right.
In our situation, it was actually best for us to let the middle sibling, my brother, handle it, because I've been through so many health issues and that sort of thing. I didn't really need the stress.
Right.
And so, we had to go through probate, conservatorship, that sort of thing. And it has been, like you said, with the probate judge here in Walker County, Lee Tucker. Fantastic job.
Absolutely.
Easy to work with, you know. But I never realized how much paperwork there is involved in all that sort of stuff.
Conservatorships and guardianships in particular are they're I guess a good word would be beastly, you know, to kind of get all that lined up. And we do now. The court has the right, and again, I need to default to Valerie on this because she's really the best at it. But the court has the right to appoint who they want. But at the same time, we do some documents as well that say, hey, you know, if the time comes, we'd really like this person to fill in that role. And I'll let Valerie talk about the guardianship and conservatorships and how we set that up for people too, because the court does give great deference to, you know, the person. If they've executed the documents, and especially someone like Judge Tucker, you know, he's going to look at that and be like, hey, if this is what you guys want. So not speaking for the judge, of course, he has the right to say it whatever he wants, but yeah, you know, he's very, very good to work with on that. So Valerie, go ahead. If you want to talk about setting up guardianships and conservatorships.
Sure. So I'll go back to the power of attorney and why that's so important. There is a clause that I put in my powers of attorney that address if I were to ever need a guardianship and or a conservatorship. And there are two different things in Alabama, and we'll talk about that in a second. But you can appoint whomever you appoint as your agent or someone else to serve in that role, because you know your family better than anyone else. So you need to be able to say, this is who I want. Now, with a guardianship conservatorship, those are necessary when you can no longer make good decisions for yourself, whether it's dementia or whatever reason. There's been a serious accident. You need someone to make those decisions for you. So it is a court process that we have to go through. It's through the probate court, and luckily y'all have a phenomenal probate judge here. So he is wonderful to deal with. So the conservatorship is someone that helps you with your finances. So think of your agent and your power of attorney. Well, the conservator would then manage your finances. They would pay your bills, arrange for power, all of that. That is handled under the conservatorship. The guardianship is, think of taking care of your person. They decide where you live, who you see, what you do, all your social activities, your health care. That falls under the guardianship. Now, a lot of times, that's the same person, and the courts are usually fine with that. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't have this set up ahead of time, then the court will appoint someone from DHR is usually who handles it. And whoever that may be. They don't know you. They don't know what your preferences are. They don't know who your family is. They don't know any of those dynamics. So it's really important to think ahead, do your planning ahead, so that you get who you want taking care of you.
Yeah, that's something I wish we would have done ahead of time before our father passed away, just because it would have been a much easier process. Mm-hmm. One of the most difficult things was having to go to a court hearing where it was almost, the way things are set up, it's almost your mother against her children. Mm-hmm. to prove the situation, mm-hmm. And that can be very difficult.
It can, and we understand why. A lot of people say, well, why is it so intense, to handle all of this? Because the simple answer on that is that the judges want to make sure that the right people get what they're supposed to get, and because that's something else that Valerie and I talk about is creditors' claims, You know, when we open up a probate, sometimes, very rarely, will we get one or two. Most of the time, it's 6, 8, 10 claims coming into the probate court. Hey, your grandmother owed us $1,500, or something like that, and that's something else that we fight against, and we make them prove it. We're not just going to say, oh, okay, well, they sent us an invoice, for this money, and they want us to pay them out of the estate. No, prove it. Prove that you deserve this money. We're not going to take money away from the beneficiaries and give it to a third party who doesn't have a valid claim. And that's something else we want to encourage everybody. When you're talking about going into probate, those creditor claims, when they start coming in, work with your attorney on that. Make sure that you object to them first off. You do everything you can to, and I'm not saying you're trying to not pay those who are entitled.
Right.
But what I am saying is we don't want some third party. Let me just say this is kind of funny, but I was reading the news article not long ago, and there was a man who was arrested. He was sending invoices monthly to Google, and Google never verified it, just paid him. And this went on for years.
Wow,
and
that's a great idea.
They finally caught him.
Until you end up in jail.
He's in jail now, but that's the kind of thing that we're talking about, is that we want to make sure the probate process is intense like it is, because we want to make sure that the money's going where it's supposed to go, and that we're not getting other hands in the pot that don't need to be there.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Well, that's a great point, Chris, and to kind of circle back a little bit to the guardianship conservatorship.
Mm-hmm.
With that, you have to have a bond as the conservator, because
Right, that was one thing too that I was going to mention, is that we didn't realize that too. You got to have a bond, and it's got to be approved, and a trust set up, I guess basically is what it is with the bond.
well, what it is it actually protects the court in case the conservator runs off with all the money.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So hopefully you choose the right person, and they're not going to do that, and they're going to make sure that they use that money to take care of you if you need a conservatorship. But it does happen. So it's really important that, and the bond can be expensive, because you have to calculate, well, what is the annual income, what are the assets in the estate, and then add 10% to that. So you could be looking, if somebody's getting $2,000 a month in Social Security, well, you've got to multiply that out. That's $24,000 plus another 10%. If they have IRAs, 401ks, investment accounts, all of that adds up. So things can get expensive.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure that in dealing with these type situations with probate, you guys have seen the absolute best in families, and probably the absolute worst in families.
Absolutely, yes.
Absolutely.
One of the things money does is money divides, without a doubt. So it's one of those things where, you're talking, we've seen fights over $5,000, and
the fights that will destroy a family forever.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Or fights over a toaster.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, we see that more in divorce law, too. So we also practice some divorce and family law. It's something I did not want to get into as a pastor. I felt like it was kind of antithetical to my mission of bringing families together. But I talked to a very good judge. Her name's Judge Welburn. She's an excellent judge down in Shelby County, and she was a family attorney before she became a judge. And she let me sit in her chambers, and she talked to me, and she was incredible. She said, what you've got to understand is that these families are coming to you in a toxic environment. Nobody is benefiting from this, and what you're trying to do is make the best of a bad situation and counsel them through so that they are functional and they have a family unit after the divorce is done. And that totally changed my perspective on it. I thought, so, and one of the things that I do, anybody who comes to me, if you come to me wanting a divorce, the first thing I'm going to do is say, are you sure? The second thing I'm going to ask you is, have you gone through counseling and done all the steps to try to fix your marriage? And the third thing I'm going to do is pray with you.
Right.
And that's what we do when we take a divorce client. So, and it's important to us that we take care of both sides on that. And the same is true of our probate. We want to make sure that the money goes to where it's supposed to go, and that things are handled the way the person wanted them to be handled while they were alive. So, but it all, in a sense, it all kind of folds in together.
Right, definitely so.
And one of the things that Chris and I really stress in our firm is communication with our clients. If you have a question, please call us. Don't sit and wait. You can text us, you can call us, you can email us. We are available to our clients.
That's right. And our office phones we carry them in our pocket right here.
Yeah.
They're with us all the time.
Well, and that's as good a segue as any. What's the office number?
Go ahead, Valerie. Because I can't remember it.
I can't either. My direct line, if you want to call and talk to me, it's 205-440-2737, and that goes directly to my cell phone. I answer it myself, so you don't have to go through a gatekeeper. I'm happy to talk to anybody that wants to talk about probate issues, estate
Right.
planning. Again, we're handling just all different kinds of cases right now, where Chris is working on an amazing case where he's trying to help a family actually build their family through surrogacy.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
that's one of our happy cases.
Yeah.
So we like the happy cases.
Now, Chris does have a filter on his. I tried to call yesterday, and I got the assistant that picks up.
Oh, did you? Yeah,
and that was
yeah.
I need one of those.
Yeah, I don't know how I got that, to be honest. I updated my phone. My wife and I got a new phone about a month or so ago, and it came with it. So I don't even know how to turn it off.
Yeah.
No, you're talking about, you want me to talk law with you or religion? I'm all about it. We start talking technology, and I don't know. I just have this brick that rings.
Well,
so,
I understand
we are
that too.
very blessed this summer to have an intern with us, Miss Emma Noble. She'll be attending William and Mary Law School in the fall, and she has helped us immensely with technology.
She has.
So we just say, Emma, please fix this.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been good.
We will be very sad when she leaves. Today is going to be her last day in
Yeah.
our firm, so
Now,
we're a little
do
sad.
you guys have a website and Facebook page too?
We do. Yeah. The website, you can just Google Colvin and Sawyer Law Offices. The actual link is colvinlawgroup.com, and also our emails. Mine's Christopher@colvinlawgroup.com. Valerie is Valerie@colvinlawgroup.com. And if you go to our website, you can also connect with us directly there. We have an email page. We also have some blogs out there to kind of just give people general, it's nothing specific, just very general information on things like probate or business law, things of that nature that we have, Valerie and I have put together to try to help people as we can. But yeah, definitely check us out on the web. You'll see my ugly mug up there, and you'll see this cute partner that I've got beside me, Valerie Sawyer. So she always looks great. I always look like a thug, but
He's my protection.
I didn't say thug when I saw your photo, the one that we've used in the promos to let people know y'all are going to be on. But I did say you looked a little sinister in the black shirt,
Yeah.
And you're very serious looking.
Yeah.
He looks like my bodyguard.
There you go. I to be honest with you, I have a terrible smile. I hate smiling on camera.
I just hate being on camera.
Right. Yeah.
We got just a couple minutes left. Anything else you guys want to add or share?
Just like I said, any general questions we're happy to field. Doesn't have to be today during law call. You guys are more than welcome to reach out to us through our website, through our cell phone, anything like that.
Facebook.
Facebook. We're happy to get online and talk with you about it. And but the important thing is Valerie and I, we started this firm to help people. That's really what we're about. We want to help people make good decisions to the best of their ability. And the truth is, we're not going to lie to you. If we don't know, we're going to tell you we don't know. And I mean, that'll come with, hey, give me a couple of days and let me see if I can find out, or let me get you in touch with my friend who handles that type of law. But we're going to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, just know that we want to try to help you as much as we possibly can.
And the other thing that Chris and I really find important is we offer free consultations.
We do, yes.
So we want to make sure that we're not going to charge you if we can't help you.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's something that's really important to us. So our firm really does focus on communication.
Mm-hmm.
We get back with you. If we can't answer the phone right then, if you call us at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it may be the next day before we get back with you, but we will get back with you. We don't let things fall through the cracks.
Right.
Yep.
And the free consultations really help us determine, well, what are your goals?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to accomplish? So we can meet those, because in the end, the plans are for you.
Yeah.
And your goals are going to be different from your next door neighbor. So we want to customize. And that's why it's really important to see an estate planning attorney, because they can customize.
Yeah.
It's not like you're getting something off of LegalZoom. You can, and it may work in Alabama, and it may not.
Yeah.
We've had many clients come in that we've had to fix it.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure you're getting to the point where you're going to have people come in who say, Chat GPT told me I should do this, because that's everybody's therapist and lawyer and best friend nowadays.
And and I'd like to talk about that a little bit too. Don't get me wrong. I think AI is a useful tool,
right?
But it needs to be a tool. And the truth is, we've seen, I don't know how many attorneys at this point that have been fined. Even some have been disbarred and suspended because they used an AI to generate their briefs, their court docs, their cases. It's not going to give you the right information 100% of the time, and it does not care if it doesn't give you the wrong information.
Right, because it's not going to be fined.
Exactly. Yeah, it's an inanimate object. You can't sue it. So.
And AI is created to give you the answer that it thinks you want.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Which is not necessarily the correct answer.
Because it'll go by based on the conversations you've already had with it a lot.
Right.
of times.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it does. It hallucinates cases. I've even seen it myself just to see how bad it would be. I threw in some ubiquitous case ideas, that I was just thinking about. It wasn't having to do with the client or anything like that. And I threw it into one of those AIs, and it came back with all these cases. And I'm looking at them, and it's giving me the holdings, and I'm like, there's no way this is right. It immediately set a red flag off for me, because I know the law doesn't turn on the facts that ChatGPT or some of the others are trying to make it turn on.
Right.
And of course, those cases didn't exist. We go out and we have software that we use where we can read those cases and we know if they're true or not. And you'd be surprised how many times some of those AI models, they call it hallucinating now. They've actually come up with a name for it, but they do. They hallucinate, and we don't recommend you using that. And even in our firm, in our what we call an engagement contract, which is when you come to us and you decide to hire us, we have a clause in there that says if you use ChatGPT, we'll fire you. We won't work with you.
Yeah.
Because it can seriously affect us. It can affect our ability to do our job. It can affect our licensure, and for us, it's just not worth it. So
I've learned a lot today, and now I've learned that AI takes mushrooms.
Yeah,
yes.
Pretty much.
Pretty
It's
much.
not a bad way to say it. Yeah.
So be careful when you take an answer from it.
That's right. That's right.
Well, guys, thanks for coming in today, and hopefully we make this a regular thing.
We're looking forward to it.
And we'll let people know when the next time will be, and that way we can get people lined up with their questions and things like that. But I think it's been a great way to introduce you guys, and fielded one call that was I think he got a lot of benefit from that.
Hopefully so.
Well, thank you guys for coming again, and thank you guys for listening. We've had a great week on Live at 9. We'll be back next week on Monday. It'll be me and Brian Baker and probably one or two of the other guys doing the Breakfast Club, and then already got a full week of guests lined up for next week. It'll be really good. Until then, be kind and love, and we'll see you next week on Live at 9 with James Phillips on WJLX.
Bevel State does more than award certificates and diplomas. At Bevel State,